right, so had a customer. Right, 3, 2, 1. All right, had somebody call me up asking for pricing for certain things, and pulled some numbers and kind of had one of these tricks here that we're going to go over. So pretty funny. I'll tell the story here in a second, but let's get into the tips and tricks of weeding out customers, the tricks they try to pull on contractors to get better deals, or even sometimes scams. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so back in the office here. This is not really the scams that people have tried to pull, but these are just like the tricks. And I mean, if they're not paying you, that's a scam, right? So I guess they're, yeah, swindles if you want to go. So I will say I've never not been paid for a job, and that basically goes to me basically pre-qualifying people that I'm actually spending my time with to become customers. And also I have a pretty good contract and subcontractor agreement there as well. So that's what I rely on. And last plug, if you do want a copy of my contract, just email me. My email will be in the description of this video. I do sell it, and my subcontractor agreement as well, if that's something you're interested in. Or I would highly recommend you seek legal advice and pay a lawyer to do it yourself like I did. So we'll get into it here. So the swindles and scamming, it's no problem. Customers are basically trained to ask for lower pricing for the same amount of work, but asking for a lower price for the same amount basically asking for a discount, and that's a no-no. I just explained to them, this is our price. We can always adjust the scope of work lower. So I had a customer, I'm going to reference this one a couple times, but I had a customer who wants me to build a house. They want basically a garage in the center and 2 3-bedroom basically residences on either side, so like a duplex, if you will, but it's one house. So I'm sure they're not trying to get it zoned like that at all or anything, but they wanted, completely separate, but also the exact same structure. So a duplex, and I explained to them, yeah, we can absolutely build it, but their pricing range was just crazy low for what they're wanting. But you don't want to make somebody's emergency your problem. So their lack of planning is not your emergency. I think that's the saying. So yeah, for sure. But another one, asking or saying that they will sign the contract for this. I have a customer, we ended up doing the job. Absolutely. A bathroom, nice big bathroom, 140 square foot bathroom. Redid some stuff for him, redid a shower, did a bunch of stuff. I gave him the quote. I think it was like $49,000 or something like that for this minor remodel. And they came back, like, hey, it looks good here. How about we cut it to like 43,000, and then we'll sign the contract if you cut it down to 43,000. So I explained to him, I was like, that's not how it works. If your 43,000 is your budget, we can take off this, get you down there. I gave you a pretty good amount for material allotment. So if you go with cheaper materials, you'll be right at that $41,000 or $43,000 mark, no problem. And they were. I mean, it was. They actually spent around there, like I think it was like 44. They hired me for the price giving. They cut down on some stuff, and I think it was like 44,000 or something like that. They ended up spending for everything, and yeah. But they asked for that's the one thing they asked me. They wanted a discount, so same amount of work for less money, it's a no-go. So saying they're using extra job site materials, this is another one. So they want to use, in my contract I basically state, hey, I buy more materials than I need to complete your job site because it's efficient. My guys don't need to hunt for things. I don't need to go drive someplace to pick up one piece of whatever it is. Like, I buy extra, but I return that after I'm done. So depending on your state, any overages, I basically return, collect my, I recover my cost, recoup my cost for those. So you have some customers just assume that's their property, and they want to go ahead and use that for whatever. They want to build themselves a new chicken coop. They want to build themselves a new built-in whatever it is. But it's in my, and I explain this to them obviously when we're going over the contract. It's not their property. That's not their materials. The scope of work, the contract is to build it, and that's it. So, less any unforeseen circumstances, of course. Customers been getting, they get mad. So say if a customer gets mad because, or overreacting, like if they get something small happens, the paint, there was some, we got some paint on a wall. If we're painting baseboards or something and we got a little bit of paint on the wall, we're already painting the wall in the first place, but they get over mad about that. They want to overreact. They're basically putting on a show. I've had that for a couple times. You know, they just super, like, you know, maybe they had a bad day, whatever, you know, it is what it is, but like they had a bad day, but it's like overreact. And then they're asking for, all right, since you did this, I need this done. Like, I'm like, hey, we're gonna repaint the entire spot over here. Or I had not a customer, but a neighbor is going after one of my subs contractors because he drove on their lawn, which he shouldn't have, obviously. But then he contacted his insurance and said that he ruined like 6 sprinkler heads and blah blah blah, which is completely an utter lie. Actually, I think that might be illegal. I don't know, trying to defraud insurance. Like, I don't, like, because for one, there's no way he could prove it because it's sprinklers. They're all winterized still. And 2, there's no, the small land that we drove, like he drove across, there's no way there's 6 sprinkler heads in those 2 tire tracks going. There's no way. Absolutely. I mean, no, that's not even remotely a possibility. So, you know, stuff like that. I mean, that would be a scam. I mean, that would be like, you know, trying to get something for nothing. But I mean, we will, you know, we'll make it right. If there's something we actually damage or anything like that, absolutely, we'll stand behind all our work. We're not trying to get away with anything, but you got people like that for sure. Customers trying to dictate terms, services, or timing or anything. Now, that goes with saying, you know, you have to let customers know when you're available, when you're not available. But I've had customers like, you know, out of the blue, like, hey, Richard, I need you to come out, you know, like Thursday at 8 o'clock. Can you be here at like 8, you know, no later than 8, you know, they won't even ask me. They just assume that I'm going to be there. Like, hey, what time Thursday can you be here? Or what time next week can you be here? Like, when are you going to come do this for me for this at this time and at this, you know, if they want to dictate, you know, rates, that's a different story. But, and then you just explain to them, like, nope, I have this time and this time allotted. You can pick either one. I dictate, you know, I'm self-employed, so I'll dictate my schedule on my own. I have problems to keeping my own schedule, let alone anybody else trying to dictate my schedule besides my wife. So, yeah, there's that. I mean, that's actually happened last week, which I explained to him. I was like, hey, I'll be there this week. You know, probably like Wednesday, Thursday. I'll let you pick the time. I can work around it, but just letting you know. Next one, I would say it's a trick, I would say, is customers, since you're already on the job site, you're doing this pretty big project, and they want to just add this small little thing here, add the small little thing there. Hey, can you just put this doorknob on for me? Or, hey, can you look at this door? Can you just cut this door down a little bit here? You know, like certain things like that. Those, you know, I've got no problem just doing maybe one of those for free. Like, it's hard to do, like, you gotta be super careful, but you can do 1 or 2, you know, but man, those things add up super quick. And I would say, don't say yes to any of them. Be like, hey, that's not in our scope of work. No problem. We can look at it afterwards, but let's get this job done first. And then if we go on and circle back with it, I got no problem looking at it and seeing what it would cost to, you know, you can sign a change order and we can take care of it. So, I mean, it's hard. I mean, older people probably, I would say, try to put, you know, that's more on them. They try to, and I don't think it's actually, most of the time it's not like, I don't think it's on purpose. They're just trying to, you know, they're just thinking things like, I got this guy here, might as well just, you know, vomit on him everything I need. And then most of the time when I say, hey, no problem, I can do this, but I have to add an additional fee, I'd say like 70% of the time they've got no problem paying for it, but that 30% like, oh, no worry. Or and sometimes they get like, oh, no, I just thought you were here, you could do it. Like what gives you that, you know, what gives you that impression? Like, we're here to do the project you hired us for. So, all right, so say I've done this before. Like, say you make a mistake on a job. Like, something happens, you make a mistake. Like, say my guy runs on the lawn, he's not supposed to, blah, blah, blah. Something happens, customer, you know, they want far more in payment than what the actual repair is worth, or what the mistake warrants. You know, like, say if you put like a, you know, small little ding in a drywall and they're like, oh, we have this whole wall, this whole panel replaced, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, that's not how this works. Like, you can have that stipulated in your contract as well, but, you know, you get fair service and fair repair for the service or, you know, damage done. You're not getting, I know there's an insurance term for it, but you're not getting, like, if something happens to one side of a house, they're not going to redo the entire house, bulldoze it, and you're not going to get a new house. So that is, you know, that I've seen that a couple of times. Like, just be like, you know, we had one of my subs left a chair outside in the rain. And he blew up. It was the end. You would have thought it was the end of the world. Blah blah blah. So, you know, I was like, hey, yeah, that's our fault. No problem. I'll pay to either replace it or we will strip it and reseal it. Whatever we need to do, we'll make it right for that chair. And then he was talking about, oh, well, that chair is, my entire dining set, blah, blah, blah. Like that's not how it works. That's definitely a swindle / a scam. So I would definitely not, absolutely not. So my last one would be, so I've never had to deal with this, but if a customer doesn't pay, you look at your state's laws and everything, but in Michigan, like, I know not to leave the job site. So, but this also goes with having a good contract. You have detailed payment schedules. You have detailed change orders that you have with you. You're there to collect the final payment, blah, blah, blah. And you've done everything and you have like a work completion and they signed it, no problem. But they're not going to pay you because they don't feel like they need to. They are, privileged in the fact that they know they don't need to pay you. So no problem. You can leave the house. Do not leave their property. Call the cops. And it's called theft of services in our area. I'm not sure what about your state or your country, but it's called theft of services. And as long as you have the paperwork to back up what they owe you and you know everything, they signed the contract, cops can and will arrest them because it's against the law. Theft of services, they already agreed, everything's done. You got the job completion letter, like they're happy with everything. They just don't want to pay you. That's it. Call the cops. Now, after you leave the property, it depends. Talk to look at your local laws or whatever it is. But after you leave the property and you come back, technically, I think it's trespassing. So, but they invited you obviously for the first time, so it's not trespassing then. That's why you don't want to leave the property. So, yeah, I've never had to deal with that. I've got a pretty good contract, but absolutely look into your state laws. That's one way. I know there's some people. There's a time when I didn't know that, and I was like, oh, that makes sense, But you're probably not going to do that if it's a couple $100, but again, if it's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, it's probably going to be worth your time, worth the effort to do that and kind of go through it, unfortunately. So that's all I've got for this video, you guys. Those are my scams and tricks and whatever swindles you want to talk about. I mean, those are ones I've been kind of running into every once in a while here. There's probably some more. Leave me a comment section in the comment section below. Let me know if what kind of horror story you had with customers, stuff like that, because everybody loves reading about those. I'll read all those comments because I want to learn. I want to know red flags to watch out for. But yeah, that's it, you guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video.